Oh, Pearson gets into the 95 of Fultz. Here comes the caution.
Flag is dropped here at Daytona, and away we go for the first time. Nicholas Porcel, Sean.
Looks like most get through unscathed. Look at that, there's Reed Gibson. A big move at the inside line of Dom's, possibly a little bit of contact.
Now, as we've got three wide action going through turns 1 and 2.
And they're underway. Eric Hahn takes a nice jump. Wilson hasn't let him go very far.
Go out here for Circuit Spa Francorchamps. Alex Johnson's off to a brilliant start there.
Just how oddly shaped this one is. We saw in the background Eric Hahn go for a bit of a swing, and he's gone and he's over.
New stuff. Cody Graham's the one-on-one up into second place. Alex Johnson 6/10 lead at the moment.
They're dicey up front. There's Andrew Kessel, Justin Sang.
They are ready to go. The lights are out, and away we go for the very first time here at Okayama International Circuit. Finley Fitzsimmons.
Tonight's Thursday night DRSCCA series brought to you by the Detroit Region Sports Car Club of America. With over 1,400 members, there is no shortage of knowledge, history, and trailblazing ideas like this Sim League. Thank you, participants and spectators, for being part of the augmentation and evolution of the region. The DRSCCA, of course, goes beyond the virtual realm, and 2024, we are hosting more than 40 events over 60 days throughout the year that can get you behind the wheel or so close to it that'll blow your hair back. The gamut of behind-the-wheel events includes road racing, road rally, rallycross, autocross, and a competition driving school. Support for the Detroit Grand Prix, Formula SAE, and Street Survival are also amazing opportunities to help sculpt future and professional drivers. Check out DRSCCA.org for more details. Superlap. Located on the world-renowned Woodward Avenue, Berkeley, Michigan, Superlap is a sim drive studio, a space to meet and compete. With professional-grade racing simulators, they are a premier racing and drive experience venue. They will help you achieve your motorsports goals with education, practice, and training. You can race and practice against an AI roster, go head-to-head with other humans, or both. They also offer league play like the DRSCCA. Maybe you're familiar with Formula One, the world's most popular racing series. Many F1 drivers, including the reigning world champion, are proponents of sim training and racing. If Max Verstappen uses a sim, shouldn't you? Go to superlap.world for details. Waterford Hills Road Racing, Metro Detroit's only permanent sanctioned road course. Waterford Hills, located in Clarkston, Michigan, hosts a 6-weekend race series, competition driving school, and 9 public open track days. The track is hot from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on these event days and is open to the public. A $5 entry fee is all it takes to get you close to the action. Check out my friends waterfordhills.com for details. Also want to give a thank you to the Michigan Turn Marshals for their support this season. If you want to get close to the action, be sure to check out MichiganTurnMarshals.org. They can train you to support races like the Detroit Grand Prix. Again, MichiganTurnMarshals.org. Special thanks to all volunteers in the Detroit region and Waterford Hills. Without them, none of this would be possible. And also want to say thanks to my friends over at the Whitlam Group, your first choice for all your labeling needs. Whitlam Group provides a variety of labeling solutions, including packaging, promotional, engineering, brand security, print on demand, and custom solutions. Located in Centerline, Michigan, Whitlam has a heart as big as their labeling options. They give back to their community by supporting the Children's Hospital of Michigan, Adopt a Child Project, Sweet Dreams Projects, COTS Detroit, Animal Welfare Society, and much more. Please visit whitlam.com for details. Welcome back, race fans, to the Detroit SCCA Sim Series, bridging the gap between virtual and trackside racing. I'm your host, James Eastwood, Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. Breathe the action, 1080p, 60 frames a second, as we're looking forward to another great night with our Miata drivers. 9 drivers making their way out, and I see a special guest in the corner, Russell Soto. Welcome back, my friend.
It's good to see you, James.
Now, Russell, are we on an iPhone tonight? We notice you're not at the Sim, so you've got to be someplace a little bit different.
That is correct. Yeah, today and mostly this week, really, I've been actually doing some behind the scenes work, keeping the Sim League alive, actually. We obviously have a lot of broadcasting costs to cover, but also like, getting engagement, and thinking about the growth of the league overall. I know, 9 drivers coming out today is maybe a lower number than we'd like, but it is the summer. It is real life racing going on. We're always looking to grow our team, but also develop the league into something more. I think it just has so much potential, and the racing so far, the community we've made, it's priceless. It's great.
Yeah, and it's a good reason. Like, I mean, last week is a great example. We had a little bit lighter field at Thursday Miatas, and we asked the drivers, where is everybody? And they say, hey, we're all going to Waterford Hills tomorrow. So that's one of the good and the bad about a crossover between the real world racers and the sim. But Russell, behind the scenes, what all does it take to run a successful league like we have here at the DRSCCA?
Well, it's a great question. I'd say it's really about not resting on your laurels. I mean, when we started this league, this series from season 1, the idea was to help bring the community together during the racing off season, because we have a great community here in Metro Detroit with, the people at Waterford Hills, but also our neighboring SCCA regions, and we just have a lot of drivers who are already on the sim. So we wanted to bring everyone together. Season 1 was a smash hit, honestly, because everyone was finally able to collaborate, to meet up, and it enriched as well as enhanced the real life relationships on the track. I mean, race 1 from Waterford, I was there. I was also there for race 2, but seeing everyone coming out of the off season, seeing people who had never really raced in real life just come out from the sim series to meet up with the guys who were racing, it was great. It brought more people to Waterford Hills. So we've had such a great success. The question is, how do we continue to grow? We want to not necessarily get too comfortable with that. We want to continue making this series an even bigger deal, an even bigger opportunity for drivers and everyone, race enthusiasts to come out and have a great time. So behind the scenes is really just thinking, how do we advance? Maybe making videos to promote the league, maybe reaching out to other potential sponsors, thinking up ideas on where do we go from here.
Now, Russell, I know coming up pretty soon, within the next 2 weeks, we have the DRSCCA virtual endurance race. I'm sure that's going to bring some drivers out of the woodwork, as that's a new format that we're trying out here, at least with this series, and helps to, I would think, build the camaraderie amongst all the racers.
Oh, absolutely, James. Yeah, I know a lot of people who are actually not even normal drivers during the Tuesday, Thursday nights that are actually coming out to race the endurance race. So I'm really excited to see everyone come out. I know people have been talking, even in real life, about who they're going to partner up with for this endurance race. It's great to hear when you're in the Waterford Hills paddock that people are talking about the sim series like that. So it's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to it.
And it bears repeating as well, I think, Soto, that just because somebody's not yet a DRSCCA member, they can come out, race the Tuesday, Thursday, or the endurance series as well, or the endurance race, I should say. So not just locked into DRSCCA members. And I was talking to the drivers here tonight. We're even hinting at putting together a team broadcast for that endurance race.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely worth mentioning. If you're watching this stream, you are welcome to race with us. And we open our league up to anybody. You don't have to be a DRSCCA member. Of course, we encourage it for your points to count towards the points championship. But your results on iRacing will, if you win the race, you win the race. So yeah, it's definitely worth coming out. You have a great community, lots of people who are passionate about racing, motorsport, just honestly great people. So I definitely recommend joining.
Yeah, very well said. Russell, before we let you go, get ready to watch this main event here, who do you want to give a shout out to that's supporting you, supporting the series behind the scenes, that you want to give a quick shout out to?
I love to give a shout out first to Alex De La Torre. He's recovering from a surgery he's had recently. So I'm wishing him a very speedy recovery. I'd love also to shout out the people who help out directly with the Sim series, that first off being Michael Schmidt, who's been a great help in hosting practice sessions, as well as taking over for me sometimes when I'm not available. Richard Scheib as well, of course, who's been a great sponsor to the league, as well as a great friend and great help in running the league. and of course everyone who comes out to race. I mean, we've had so many regulars, so many newcomers, so many part-timers. They're all welcome to come. I mean, it's just a blast, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where we go from here.
I am as well. Russell, always a pleasure, buddy. It looks like our drivers are lining up. I know you're probably going to head out of the booth here. You're always welcome to stick around, let the record show, but always a pleasure talking to you and looking forward to seeing what these drivers do here tonight.
Looking forward to it, James.
Thank you, sir. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for today's feature event. Your running order: Stephen Kahn sitting in pole position, number 906. Ryan Goff starting second. Trent McMillan starting third. We've got Andrew Student Driver Gross starting fourth. Michael Schmidt starting fifth. William Linder starting sixth. Tanner Bach starting seventh. Eugene Clark starting eighth. And Mr. Tom Salmon will round out the 9-car grid here today. Let us know what your predictions are, as I'm excited to see what these Titans can do. The Miatas always lend themselves for very close wheel-to-wheel racing. Now, it is a 30-minute feature here tonight. No scheduled pit stops on the board. Also, the first time we've seen the DRSCCA drivers at this virtual track of Willow Springs, a relatively new addition here on iRacing. So this is actually going to be my first race I've called here, even though it is at least a nationally famous circuit, I would say. This is a track that's been around long enough for my dad to have road raced it back in his heyday. So a very cool local track here at Willow Springs. As we're going to wait for that iRacing safety car to come down pit road. And then we will fire it off for 30 minutes. The driver's about 6/10 of the way around the circuit. And looking forward to seeing what Stephen Kahn, Ryan Goff can do on that front row. It was tight in qualifying here today. So here we go. The safety car gets ready to come down pit road. The start is going to be on our flagman, Barney, preparing that green flag here. And we are green flag racing to kick things off the DRSCCA Thursday Spec Miata Series. Ryan Goff already with a big charge, the number 5 machine, but Stephen Kahn's going to defend the inside line. The field stacks up slightly. Andrew Gross pushes a little bit wide. I see Michael Schmidt putting the pressure on McMillan there. The battle for 4th. Ryan Goff getting a healthy breakaway. We pan back to Trent McMillan, the number 8 machine, squeezed in between Gross and Schmidt. Schmidt has William Linder, Tanner Box right behind as well. Eugene Clark, Tom Salmon getting up to speed there. Oh, and there's going to be some incidents. I think that was Stephen Kahn. Looked like Andrew Gross also had some sort of issue. Let's get the replay queued up, see what happened to Kahn there, the number 906. I believe it's going to be a solo incident. Gross may follow suit. Kahn just pushes a little bit wide. Gross follows him. Thankfully, Kahn did not launch it up the dirt embankment. But that's going to put the 906 way down up into 7th. He's going to try and catch the draft off of Tanner Box, see if he can pull himself back into the battle. And speaking of battle, Trent McMillan, Andrew Gross linked up nose to tail here, quite literally. As William Linder, a bit of a late entry there in the number 86. Doing a good job and is showing, saying he's not usually super comfortable in these Miatas compared to the open wheels we raced Tuesday nights. But doing a fairly good job, I would say. Michael Schmidt's going to lose a spot there to Tanner Box. And Linder has caught up, and he's now up 2 positions, tucked in behind Andrew Gross, the student driver, number 69. Keep an eye out. I think Linder's going to try and make something happen as quickly as he can. Now, your race leader, Ryan Goff, has already gained a 1.6 second advantage over the rest of the field. Just on a bit of a different level here. But the rest of the field, 2nd through 7th, fairly close together. You've got 3 drivers, McMillian, Gross, and Linder, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. All within about a second of each other. And then a second pack, 5th, 6th, and 7th, Box, Schmidt, and Kahn, also linked up. So even though it's pretty early on into this show, I think you might see some of these drivers linked up together, trying to work together a little bit to see if they can pull themselves up a little bit closer to their competition. As I say that, here's the battle for 5th. Tanner Box making the move against Michael Schmidt. Stephen Kahn, the 906, pushes a little bit wide there. He's in the very blue Miata. As Michael Schmidt's bobbing and weaving here, looking for an opening. Oh, looks like Schmidt's going to make it here. Box gets pushed a little bit wide. Now Stephen Kahn trying to interject himself into the party. And that is allowing Eugene Clark, the number 73, a little bit of redemption here. He is catching up to this second pack of drivers. And we might be having a 4-car battle for 5th. I got to agree with Sam Stoner out there in the bleachers on the spectator area. The draft is huge, both at this track and in the spec Miatas. If you can stay within about a half second of the driver in front of you, you have a very good chance of getting a tow and getting pulled back forward. On board, Eugene Clark, the number 73 machine. He's tucked in behind the 906 of Stephen Kahn. And it looks like Kahn keeping the pressure up on Box here. Now, second place driver, no, I was going to say it was Trent McMillian clicked off the fastest lap of the race. Yes, it is. McMillian a 128.4. Finding a little bit of pace here as we start to get some heat into these Miata tires. Schmidt and Box separated by about 0.4 of a second. Ryan Goff, your race leader, he's about 1.1 second up over McMillian. McMillian in second, 2.2 up over Andrew Gross, who sits in that final podium spot. So Kahn is going to be looking for some redemption here. He is down 6 spots from where he originally qualified after that very early bobble. And here we go. Kahn working the inside line against Tanner. Side by side we go here. Kahn showing ahead by about 1/10 of a second. Tanner's going to fire back, or at least try to, the long way around. And they're both, when they go side by side, pushing a whole lot of air for Eugene Clark to close the gap behind that number 73. Box had a big run there, nowhere to go. Looks like Schmidt doing everything he can to catch up to William Linder. Linder looks to be losing Andrew Gross, who sits in third. Gross now a second up over the rest of the field from fourth place back. Schmidt facing a fire from Stephen Kahn. So if Kahn can remount a charge here in this 30-minute feature, that is going to be quite impressive. Now, the good news for these drivers, just about everybody is relatively close to somebody out on track. So even with the lighter field of 9 drivers, still great racing to be found all across the circuit. Looks like Trent McMillan starting to close up to Ryan Goff, your race leader. Has reeled Goff in within 0.6 of a second. I wonder if Goff must have had a bobble on this lap, causing him to lose so much time. Schmidt chipping away here, but he's going to go wide off track. I don't think he lifted at all during that one. He's going to lose a little bit of time to Linder, allowing Kahn and Box to close up together. And let's go back to Trent McMillan. There's the race leader ahead, Ryan Goff. So McMillan might have been able to grab a toe here and pick up a little bit of the draft. Eugene Clark also had an off track. The number 73 machine looks like he's able to hold on to it. And now Andrew Gross has drivers behind him for the first time in a while. Linder has picked up the pace a little bit here, getting chased by Michael Schmidt, Stephen Kahn, and Tanner Box. But no, Gross is going to have problems. Gross is off track, able to safely rejoin. But just like that, the number 69 falls back to 6th. That's going to put William Linder up into that final podium spot. And I just saw an off track from your race leader, Ryan Goff. Off in the dirt. Didn't lift at all during that one. And there is a very heated battle for third. Michael Schmidt pulls up alongside William Linder. Side by side we go for third. Stephen Kahn trying to get a piece of the action there. The all-blue 906. Linder has a good drive off the corner. Just ahead of these two, though, Trent McMillan has caught your race leader. Ryan Goff, he takes a peek to the inside line in turn 1. Goff pushes a little bit wide, almost goes off track there. Able to defend, holding on to the race lead. So these guys are going at it. It's a bit of a meat grinder here for fourth. You've got Kahn, Schmidt, Box, Linder, all nice and tight, and it looks like Gross and Clark starting to close up behind as well. Now again, there are no scheduled pit stops here, the DRSCCA Virtual Miata Series. So the only way you're going to see a driver come down pit road is due to off-track penalties or having to fix some damage. Thankfully, it's been a relatively clean race here tonight. We've had a few off-tracks, but so far everybody's kept it nice and clean, putting on a great show. Gross has a big run here against Tanner Box. Pulls up alongside the number 12. And let's see, can Gross and that number 69 student driver machine get clear? Looks like he can. Trent McMillan's going to take another shot here. Ryan Goff for the race lead. He tried this the lap prior into 1, but McMillan wasn't able to make the pass stick. Let's see if he can this time by. He's going to try and slide up ahead of Ryan Goff, but Goff's going to be set up here for the next right-hander. No, look at that, McMillan making it happen the long way around. And while that pass for the lead's going on, things are getting frantic from third place back. Stephen Kahn has fought his way, had fought his way back up into third. Michael Schmidt taking back over the position. William Linder, the late entry, the number 86 machine, sitting in this flying V formation. Linder late on the brakes to avoid getting to the back of Michael Schmidt. Oh, you can throw a blanket over these drivers. Are we going to go 3 wide here? Looks like just side by side for the time being. Ryan Goff has taken back over the race lead from Trenton McMillan. William Linder up into 3rd. Schmidt back to 4th. Andrew Gross in 5th. Schmidt falls back to 5th. No, there's Gross up to 4th. You've got a battle for the lead going on. And about 6 drivers battling for that final podium spot. Ryan Goff takes the lead back from Trenton McMillan. William Linder has a freight train of talent tucked in behind him. Linder holding on to that final podium spot, but I don't think he's going to get much of a break here. Linder and Gross trying to work that draft together to pull away from Schmidt and Box. Side by side we go. Oh my goodness, where did William Linder go? Way off track. Let's see, was there contact there, I wonder, between Linder and Gross? I think there may have been. And then shortly after that, Andrew Gross had some sort of issue. Look at the damage to the front left. Gross far off track there. I think he might have had some suspension or wheel damage. So that is going to give Ryan Goff, Trent McMillan a 10-second breakaway from the rest of the field. You still have Box, Kahn, and Schmidt linked up here. But unfortunately for William Linder and Andrew Gross, with this only being a 30-minute feature, I think their chances of a podium have rapidly been dashed here. Ryan Goff leads us across the start-finish line. McMillan tucked in behind. Goff holding on to a 6/10 advantage. We pan back to Stephen Kahn holding on to that final podium spot. Chased by Tanner Box and Michael Schmidt. We got Fast 500 saying, no, Andrew. And I just saw another off-track report. This time it was Trent McMillan. It's going to be exponentially worse here as he drops another wheel. That's going to give Ryan Goff a 2.3-second advantage. Now, not all is lost here for McMillan. We're just about to the halfway mark. And as I say that, Ryan Goff briefly with an off track in the number 5. McMillan has been down before compared to the race leader number 5, but as long as he stays consistent, the drivers were telling us in practice and qualifying the track is very hot, very greasy out here tonight. And so far, Willow Springs has been lending itself to some great racing here. Box in that number 12. He's up 3 spots from where he started. And Schmidt makes that pass against Box. So Schmidt up into 4th. Now they're about 1.2 seconds back from Stephen Kahn, holding on to that final podium position. As drivers have been displayed the cross, green and white flags signaling the halfway mark of today's main event. So we are officially in the back half, and we've had another crash. And this time it's going to be Trenton McMillan who is running in 2nd. So things are about to get a little bit more exciting up here for the podium. Here comes Stephen Kahn with a whole lot of speed behind him, and he's getting chased by Michael Schmidt and Tanner Box. Suddenly, these drivers that thought they were going to be battling for a top 5 can see a possible podium ahead of them. Kahn with a big run here. On that 906 qualified in the top spot. We know he has raw pace. He pulls up alongside McMillian. What a roller coaster of an evening here for the 906. Started up at the very front, went pretty much all the way to the back. And now finds himself in second once more. McMillian dipping a couple more wheels. Let's see what happened to McMillian there. It's going to be a solo incident. Does he push a little bit wide? There goes Andrew Gross taking an alternative line. Just loses the back end, and around it goes for McMillian. So your race leader, Ryan Goff, 11 seconds up from the rest of the field. Stephen Kahn, Trent McMillian, second and third, separated by about 0.2 of a second. They're about 0.8 up over Michael Schmidt. The minutes are rapidly clicking off here. Ryan Goff is in a different zip code here at Willow Springs, 11 seconds up from the rest of the field. But you've got second through about fifth place, relatively tight here. Here we go, the battle for second. Trent McMillian within 0.2 of a second of Kahn. Now, surely these two drivers know if they start battling too much here, that is going to allow the likes of Michael Schmidt, who's watching from behind the number 129. He wants a piece of this. Schmidt wants to get up here into the top three. There's Schmidt, the Whitlam group back, number 129, Miata. He's about 0.4 off the back of McMillian, so he should be able to get the draft here off of that number 8. McMillian qualified in third, still holding on to it. But here's a big, big run from Michael Schmidt. He stays tucked in behind McMillian. That has given Stephen Kahn an advantage of about 1 second over this now battle for third. Looks like Schmidt content following behind McMillian here. Maybe trying to do a little bit of teamwork, work that draft together. Schmidt pushes I can't tell, did he push a little bit wide there or no? Did he hit the double apex just right? He immediately closes the back to McMillian. Unfortunately, Andrew Gross has taken a tow back to pit road, so he's going to be retiring from this feature event. Schmidt very frequently triggering the off-track alert up here in the broadcast booth. Stephen Kahn has to be happy with McMillian and Schmidt battling behind, keeping them right at a second at bay, but I just saw Kahn with a brief off-track. McMillian's going to try and capitalize, hammering down the throttle. Kahn's been fairly consistent after that opening lap incident. Ryan Goff, though, still holding an 11.2 second gap over the rest of the field. He is enjoying the clean air here at Willow Springs. Clicking off laps, making it look easy. Also looks like Todd Salmon starting to catch up to Eugene Clark. And what may be the battle for 6th by the time it's all said and done. Now Stephen Kahn just got down to a 129.52. McMillian A 129.14. Schmidt, a 129.59. So the pace very similar. Second through about fourth place here. The minutes clicking off here. About 8 minutes left to go here. The DRSCCA Thursday Night Spec Miata Series. Ryan Goff still holding on to the race lead. Stephen Kahn, that roller coaster of a night. He's in second, but he's got Trent McMillan closing the gap. Michael Schmidt has fallen off slightly here. He's about 1 second back from McMillan. Unfortunately, William Linder is having some sort of issue as he is pointing the wrong way here. Let's see what happened. Little bit too much curbing, upsets the car, and around he goes. Linder gets style points, though. That was a beautiful moment, as unhappy as he's going to be about it. McMillan was really quickly closing the gap to Stephen Kahn, but he's going to have a big off track. And he's going to lose a fistful of time. That's going to put Michael Schmidt back within striking distance. Schmidt tries to set something up here against McMillan into turn one. Looks like Schmidt makes it happen. Can he hold on to it? Quickly pulls about 0.4 of a second up over McMillan. And we've been told Andrew Gross wants to hop up here in the booth. Welcome, Andrew. Unfortunately, we have that car back behind the wall. But what happened out there, buddy?
Man, to be honest with you, can you hear me, James?
Yes, sir.
Oh, this is sweet being here. I'm not really sure, to be completely honest with you. I turned in, and so did William, and I haven't got a chance to watch the replays yet. But I haven't, we were kind of discussing it right after. I think he turned in a little late, and I might have not really been paying attention too well. And all of a sudden, the front of my car is in the back of his car, and my car was done for.
Now, Andrew, with the smaller field, I mean, it's been nonstop action here tonight. Were you surprised to see how busy the racetrack was early on, and are you surprised to still see how close these guys are?
Yeah, I'm watching from Trenton's perspective right now, so I can kind of keep up with you here. And I actually was talking to the guys and saying, man, with a field of only 6 guys, but with 7 guys, I had a feeling like me, Ryan, and Trent were maybe going to have a big gap. But I know Michael was kind of bound up in the middle with some guys that he's usually a little faster than. Steven's usually behind Michael, so I was actually really surprised I think he out-qualified. Yeah, he got pole. That was really interesting to see. So I'm definitely surprised with how much I'm watching Trenton and Michael hold up together right now.
Now, Andrew, with a little bit over 5 minutes left to go, does McMillan have anything left in the back pocket, that number 8, to try and track down Schmidt, or is it all going to come down to which driver can minimize the mistakes out here?
I think that Trenton does. He's holding a really, really tight gap right now. Mine's showing 0.3 on the relatives. So I think he has a really, really good chance. He really holds up to pressure pretty well usually. He's been talking about having some issues going up the hill a little bit, but overall he's been really consistent and been really, really fast. I mean, just throughout the entire season.
Well, Andrew, you've had more on-track experience here. I just got the track before today's main event. Where is the prime passing opportunity? Where are we going to see McMillan try and set something up against Schmidt here? And how is he going to be able to defend after he makes it happen, if he makes it happen?
I'm really bad with names here, but I think it's that left-hander Budweiser corner, if I remember correctly, or Budweiser Bridge. That left-hander, he's going to come through. If he can get a good run on Michael, he'll be able to stay a draft of about 1/10 of a second that he's off behind him. So I think he's going to come around probably on the inside, but we'll see. He's kind of looking at the moment right now.
Yeah, then, McMillan hops out of line side by side with Michael Schmidt, come to the start-finish line. I almost wonder if McMillan's trying to measure him up now and give himself another opportunity if he can't make it stick here. Oh, and Michael Schmidt, a little bit of an off track. Oh, did we lose Andrew?
No, I'm still here. Sorry, mine got a little bit behind, and so I was trying to catch up.
Yeah, if you look over here in the broadcast booth, we've got a live output of the camera as well. So that'll show you exactly what the fans are seeing as well. It's a little bit of a cool factor up in the broadcast booth. We've got bottles of water, we've got AC, and we've got live previews. As unfortunately Michael Schmidt has another little bit of a moment. He's going to give about 3/10 back to the favor of McMillian. Yeah. That's exactly what McMillion's looking for. He wants to get a breakaway and try and shake off Schmidt and have him lose the draft.
Yeah, I'm actually I'm watching from the same perspective as you. Yeah, and he's got about 6/10 now on Michael, so he's holding up quite a bit. So hopefully he can keep it there. That draft though is strong. I mean, if you were within 2 seconds of the guy behind you, you were still actually being sucked in via the draft. It's pretty powerful here at Willow Springs.
So that would mean Schmidt, with about 3 minutes left to go, still within striking distance, still has an opportunity to make something happen against McMillian. But now it's gonna be McMillion's turn to try and defend. He's about a half second up here from Schmidt. But man, Schmidt, as you said, he's in the draft, coming to the start-finish line. Started off this section about 6/10 back, and looks like he's going to be good for about a 1/10 and a half here heading into turn 1.
Yeah, I think they're gonna end up having another lap right after this one. Oh, Trent went a little wide. That is definitely what Michael wants to see.
Yeah, that puts Schmidt within just about 4/10 of a second here. And as you said, you think Ryan might take the white flag this time by Ryan Goff?
I think he's going to take the white flag here, yeah, because with about 2 minutes left to go, 2 minutes and a quarter, each lap is about 1:30. Where is Ryan here on the?
He's about halfway through this lap.
Okay. So yeah, he's probably going to be taking the white flag here, if not the next one. So I think Michael has a pretty good chance of at least getting side by side with him going through this long draft section, but I don't think he's going to be able to quite get past Trenton. Racing against those Team Legit guys, they can be they're very nice people, but man, they can be pretty aggressive on track.
Yeah, especially in iRacing when you don't have to fix it after you have a bit of a moment. Looks like Schmidt closes it within 3/10 of a second. So
hard.
I think we're going to keep this thing running here, but it's going to be very close. This could very well be the white flag lap for these drivers. Ryan Goff has just crossed the line. It's going to be close. So I think Schmidt is going to try and make a pass stick, just knowing he might not have that extra time.
No, I don't think he has that extra time. You're right.
So Schmidt within 2/10 of a second, tucked in behind McMillian into turn 1. Breaks a little bit early, working on that slow in, fast out maneuver. Seems like it works out well for him. Definitely both these drivers have their different strengths on this circuit, and it has definitely been a night of minimizing mistakes. Drivers coming into tonight were telling us how hot and greasy and free and loose the cars were, and you can definitely tell. I think everybody out there has been fighting it a little bit here.
Oh yeah, we're running about, my iRacing is in Celsius, and we're running about 20 degrees hotter Celsius than we were yesterday, so it's getting pretty tight. But that's
Stephen Kahn.
Oh my God.
So just like that, Andrew, we've got a 3-car battle for second. You've got Kahn, McMillian, and Schmidt separated by less than 3/4 of a second. Kahn pushes wide once more. Here comes McMillian. It's anybody's guess here. Ryan Goff, he's got about less than 1/10 of a lap left to go. This could very well be the battle to the wire. Let's see, does Ryan Goff cross the start-finish line? I think he is.
Yeah,
so we're gonna have one more lap here. We're about to be seeing a shootout for second.
This should be very, very interesting, especially because I know Michael's been really, really itching to get a pass, and he would love to be on the podium today.
Yeah, McMillian has worked his way up into second. Stephen Kahn has fallen back to third. Schmidt, a wily veteran here at the DRSCCA, he knows this is going to be the last lap to make something happen. And I think both McMillian and Kahn know there's no room for error. If any of these drivers makes a mistake, it is a very quick way to lose a couple of spots very early on. And I think McMillian's going to try and put in the lap of his life right now. Ryan Goff is in a different zip code. 16.6 seconds up for the rest of the field. Right now, all eyes on the 3-car battle for second.
Yeah, Stephen Kahn's doing a really good job. He's pushing his car, making it really, really wide so Michael can't get past it. Oh, a little spin there.
So Kahn, a huge bobble, losing the back end. That is going to have a very frustrated Michael Schmidt right behind. He had a lift to avoid the contact with the 906. McMillian's got to be ecstatic with that, giving him about 3/4 of a second breathing room. We've got less than a quarter of a lap left to go for Ryan Goff before he takes the checkers here. And Stephen Kahn, he was trying to make that car wide, might have went a little bit too wide on that one.
Yes. I don't know if Michael's going to have quite the draft to pull in before this final corner, but I think on the front straight he's going to try to make it happen here. This is a really tough corner to try to carry momentum because it's not really a brake zone, it's a lift. And with Stephen Kahn going wide, so is Michael.
Well, put your hands together. Ryan Goff picks up a dominant win here tonight as they come to the line. It's going to be Trenton McMillian in second and Stephen Kahn rounding out the top three.
That was a fantastic race from everybody.
Well, hey, Andrew, super cool to have you up here in the booth. We got to do it more often, maybe sans the crashes, but thank you for joining us in those final laps, and that was a ton of fun, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me here, James.
Glad to, sir. The driver's going to complete their cool laps here at Willow's, cool down laps here at Willow Spring, and then we're going to get them back up here into the top three. Looks like we've got Goff, we've got McMillian, so now we're just waiting on Stephen Kahn to join us in the booth. And it looks like the gang is all here. So we're going to start things off with Mr. Stephen Kahn, the 906. Stephen, I think roller coaster is an understatement for the kind of night you had here tonight.
Yeah, I'm shaking here. That was one of the most wild 30 minutes of sim racing I've ever had.
And I think coming into tonight, Stephen, nobody was expecting that. We thought it was going to be a nice, calm 9 drivers. We were talking about what we were going to do if the race got boring, and it was anything but.
No, we should have known the calm it was just the calm before the storm if it was a night that I get pole.
Yeah, well, you made it interesting, even though I know you didn't want to. What made the car and track so tough to handle here tonight? I mean, there was everybody having some tank slappers, some off tracks, and some really exciting moments.
You know, I didn't look at how hot the track temp got to, but it felt a lot greasier than practice and some of my practice earlier in the week. So I think just trying to ride that edge, especially up the hill, it bit me a couple of times, and thankfully we held on. But I wish I could have held those together a little bit better. That maybe kept Ryan in sight.
Well, it was a lot of fun for us up here in the booth. Glad you had a good time out on track and able to capitalize, grab a podium. Before I let you go and unwind from this one, Stephen, who do you want to give a shout out to that helps put you up here in third?
Yeah, I want to thank my wife for putting up with me sitting in this little sim rig so often, and my dad who tunes in and watches when he can. It's fun to sit back and talk with him about the race afterwards. So looking forward to chatting with him.
Awesome, super cool, Stephen. Always a pleasure, bud, and hopefully we'll have you up here next week as well.
I hope so too. Thank you, James.
Thank you, sir. That was Stephen Kahn bringing it home. And third up next, we've got Trenton McMillian joining us in second. Trenton, we were talking to Stephen about the definition of a roller coaster of a night. What is your perspective on what that means to you?
Definitely a roller coaster of a night. I started out the night giving Ryan about everything he could handle, and then just lost the rear end in that uphill section as those tires got hot. These cars are a handful when they get hot.
And it seems like everybody was fighting with that. I don't think there was a single driver that didn't have at least one really big moment out there tonight. I mean, how frustrating is that, knowing that when you have that moment, you've got heat in the tires and it's just going to be worse from there on out?
I lost my rhythm through that uphill section for a good 3 or 4 laps after I spun out. I was just losing a half second to a second. So it was pretty frustrating. You know, you get out of that rhythm and you're like, oh, I'm afraid to slide the car now. And then you lose some speed. But, you know, you adapt. And luckily, like you said, everybody else was making some mistakes out there too. Had some good draft help from Mike and from Andrew. So it
was a lot of fun to watch, Trent. Now we've got a bunch of tracks coming up. Detroit, Belle Isle, Sebring, Road America, Road Atlanta. Any of those tracks that you're particularly excited to race at?
I'm always excited to race at Road America. I've gotten to race there in real life, and it's a a ton of fun, particularly in this set of cars. So I'm super pumped for Road America. I'm always terrified of Belle Isle. Too much concrete on both sides, but it's also a good race if everybody keeps their nose clean.
Well, looking forward to it. Looking forward to having you back up here in the top 3. And Trent, before I let you go and unwind from this one, who do you want to give a shout to that helped make second place possible for you?
Hey, I'm going to give a big shout out to my legitimate racing team. We had a hard week coming off of Watkins Glen where we crashed our Focus this week. So good to get on track. Hopefully we all get back on the podium soon. We were on the podium on Saturday and hard day on Sunday. So big shout out to Sean and Anthony and Mark. If you guys want to follow some racing action, get on Legitimate Racing's Facebook page. And then shout out to my fiance and my mom for always supporting me and, dealing with as much race practice as I put in. So thank you guys too for the race series and hosting it with the DRSCCA. Russell and Alex are always fantastic. And James, I really appreciate all the commentary. You do a great job every week, buddy.
Hope couldn't do it without you guys. Trenton, thank you so much. Tip of the hat to your race team. I'll be giving a follow, and hopefully we have you up here next week.
Sounds good. Talk to you later.
Thank you, sir. That was Trenton McMillian bringing it home in second. But up next, the man, the myth, the legend, Ryan Goff, the top spot. A 16.6 second gap. Ryan, it seemed like once you got the off tracks and the bobbles out of the way, things kind of calmed down a little bit up there for the number 5.
Yeah, it was once I realized how much of a gap I actually had, because I do turn my relative only to like the person behind me, so I don't really know, because otherwise I'll stare at it all race. So once I realized that gap was that large, I kind of just was like, all right, focus, you're just overdriving the car. Consistency is key, and that's all I came out trying to do today.
Yeah, we noticed up here in the booth after a couple of exciting moments you had in number 5. We saw the lap time start to slow down a little bit. So what point of the race was it we were like, okay, let's back it down. I don't want to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory here.
Basically, after me and Trenton he had caught up to me. We poked the nose a couple times on each other throughout a few laps. And once I built back up like another 2-second gap on him naturally after a couple mistakes he made. And fortunately, when we went up the hill and I seen him go off, I'm like, that's got to give me some breathing room. But I wanted to build the gap as much as I could, and it caused me to overdrive the car for a few laps. And basically, about the midway point, I was like, I basically told myself, I'm like, okay, breathe, just be consistent. And my times did pick back up towards the end. So it was just, it was a lot hotter than practice was. So the track was 10 times as slick. So it was definitely something we were all dealing with.
Definitely made it exciting, especially for me up here. I couldn't imagine actually driving it with you guys. And right as the replay catches one of those dipping the tire moments that we saw throughout the race. But Ryan, we've got an endurance race coming up. Are we going to see that number 5 out there for it?
Unfortunately, I'm going to be out of town for work. Just got called into work, and unfortunately, I'll be missing it. But good luck to everyone out there. I'll be here for the rest of the MX5 races throughout the rest of the season, but unfortunately, I will miss the Enduro.
Well, big bummer on that one, but super cool to have you back up here in the top spot. And tonight, my friend, you've got the privilege, the pleasure, the final send-offs of the night. Who do you want to give a shout to that helped make it happen for you?
Shout out to Trenton and for giving me a good run for my money, and a good race from Steven, making his way back after a couple mistakes himself. So it was just a good small pack race, but it made it exciting from everyone, it sounded like. So good race, and have a great night, James.
Awesome. Thank you, Ryan. Hopefully we'll have you up here the remaining couple of rounds, and always a pleasure.
Yep, same here. Have a good night, man.
You as well. That was Ryan Goff bringing it home in the top spot. He was accompanied by Mr. Trent McMillian and Stephen Kahn rounding out the top 3. On behalf of the DRSCCA.org, my name has been James East with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. Thank you all so much for spending your Thursday night with us, and we'll see you at the next one. Have a great night, everybody.